COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
This is officially the weirdest holiday weekend ever, isn't it? Trying to relax, but it's all I've been doing for the last little while. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Isolators. And it is a May 2-4 weekend. Let me just adjust the camera there for you. And I did not forget today. We are going to start every show with this. I am grateful for... Has anybody started with that yet? No, no one has. All right, you guys all forgot too. You know what? Okay. Here we go. Linda, you're the first one. You're the first one off the mark here. I'm grateful for my sons, Louis and Anthony, grandson Maverick, daughter-in-law. Get your feet off the table. Get your feet off the table. My table. I am grateful for. You know what? I'm grateful for the sunshine today. It's just I'm looking at. In fact, you can see it reflecting now. I was looking at some old tapes from when we first started this show. Can you hear me okay? I was looking at some old tapes, and by this time, it was already, the sun was setting, and it was getting dark. So I'm grateful the sun is out later and later and later. And thank you very much, Donna, for that. I am grateful for this show, she says. I'm grateful for being, says Lee. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's fantastic. What are you laughing at? I'm grateful you get your feet off the table. Okay, Mike. All right. We're going to have some fun today. We are going to do a Queen Victoria quiz in a few minutes because it is, of course, the Victoria Day weekend. And she is probably the most influential monarch in modern times. Even, I think, did more than Queen Elizabeth II. She was at a time when change was abundant at the turn of the century in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And so she accomplished a lot, and I think it's appropriate that we have a day named in her honor. And even though she never, ever visited Canada, she had a soft spot in her heart for Canada, and definitely the people of Toronto had a soft spot in their heart for her and adored their queen. So she never visited Canada, never visited Toronto, but still, I managed to dig up a bit of trivia enough to have a little bit of a quiz for you. So let's clear the board with everybody because I'm going to watch for your answers. I don't have any guests today. Nobody returned my calls today. But you're going to be my guest today. So I want to see some answers, see how you do with these questions. It is time now for the Queen Victoria Toronto quiz.
I am amused.
And if you look very carefully, you will notice that Queen Victoria needs a bit of a shave for that. Are you ready, my friends and isolators? Okay. Are you ready for your answers? Here we go. Here is your first question. Queen Victoria School in Parkdale, here in Toronto, was named for what event? Queen Victoria's coronation, her jubilee, her visit to Canada, or her death? What was she named for? Let's see what some of your answers are. Okay, where are our guesses? I'm waiting for them to come up here. I think I have a bit of a delay as well, so just 1 second. Let's see, come on. I'm waiting. I can wait all day if I have to. Queen Victoria Public School. Named for what? Her death, says Lori. So we get some answers coming up now. Her jubilee, says Donna. Her visit to Canada, Nancy. All right, put Nancy up because Nancy, I'm going to publicly shame you right now. I've already said she never visited Canada. So that was a trick. There's a few tricks in this. That's okay. That's all right. She was probably the last monarch not to really visit Canada. I don't know if there were any monarchs before. That's a really interesting question. Can someone look that up for me? Were there any monarchs that actually visited Canada? Who was the first, Alexa, who was the first king or queen to visit Canada? I'm hoping she'll tell me I found this
Here's
on them.
something I found on Wikipedia.
Okay.
The
What?
first member of the royal family to visit Canada was the future King William IV, who arrived on the country's east coast in 1786 while an officer in the Royal Navy.
1786.
Does that answer your question?
No. Hold on, I just said, did that answer your question?
Feedback.
But didn't I know? Well, don't just leave me, Alexa. Who is the first official... hold on. Cancel. I get it. Okay, someone, you know what? I'm going to leave it with you. I'm going to leave it with you guys. I'm having a fight with Alexa. Alexa and I get along, and sometimes we don't get along. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Elizabeth II, someone said, was the first, or Elizabeth the First? I don't think so. Okay. Someone look it up for me. I'm assigning someone to look this up for me. What is the first official royal visit to Canada? Who's the first... I guess it's going to have to be a modern day king or queen that visited Canada. Could it possibly be King George? I'm just wondering. Okay, someone find that out for me. But here, let's take a look at that answer for you right now about Queen Victoria Public School here in Toronto. It was her jubilee. That's what it was named for. She had been on the throne for 50 years. I've been on the throne for what feels like 50 years sometimes too, but that's a whole different thing. Sorry, don't. Okay, King William IV. No. Was it King William IV? Okay, now everybody's just all over. Yes, so it was named after her jubilee, June 20th, 1887, and that was the same year that Queen Victoria Public School opened. All right, we are getting a few of you got it. You ready for the next question? Are you ready? Are you ready for the next question? By the way, King William IV. Does anybody, and this is just a trivia thing. King William IV is the royal monarch that preceded Queen Victoria. Was he her father? The answer is no. He was her uncle. Just want to let you know that. I found that quite interesting. He did not have any heirs that were before her, so she was his niece. Okay. Next question for you right now. And this caused a lot of controversy at the time, and some days still does, especially with royalists out there. Here's our next question for you. We all know the Queen Victoria statue at Queen's Park, which of course is the park that is named after her. Originally put into place in 1902, the statue was not placed in a more desirable spot on the southern boundary of Queen's Park, where most people wanted it to go. Why not? In fact, the Premier of the day said this was just sort of a secondary location. Why was it not placed in the southern boundary of Queen's Park? Now, Queen's Park is sort of a catch-all phrase. The actual park is the green space that the legislature building stands on. So the legislature building itself is not called Queen's Park. The area that surrounds it with all the government offices, even partially going into the U of T grounds, that is Queen's Park. That is known as Queen's Park. But the actual park, Queen's Park, named after Queen Victoria, is that green space that is pretty well surrounded by Queen's Park Crest and Queen's Park Circle. So here we go. What was the answer? Did it distracted traffic, said Mike? No, because there is a statue there right now. Anybody else? Google Mini says King William IV. So it looks like King William IV was the first monarch to visit Canada. Okay, does anybody know why the statue was not placed in the prestigious location? As you're coming up University Avenue and you're looking at Queen's Park, they wanted Queen Victoria's statue right there. How come it was not put there? Anyone? Come on, anyone? No, okay. All right, here we go. 5, 4, Parker's counting down. 3, 2, 1. All right, here is your answer. Well, it was not put there because Sir John A. Macdonald got there first. If you no, there it is. He had that statue was put there in 1894. Queen Victoria was not placed until 1903. In fact, a few years after her death. And at that point, Toronto had nothing really, no memorial for Queen Victoria at the time of her death. All right, so how are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you. Someone just gave me a link to the royal visits. Appreciate that. Okay, next question. Did you know that the Hospital for Sick Children, that is not its original location where we see it on University Avenue and with Elizabeth in the back or the front, whichever way you come in from it. The first Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto was at the corner of Elizabeth and College. And the Canadian Blood Services is there now. But something very interesting. Now it was originally called the Victoria Hospital for Children, named after Queen Victoria. So here is your next question. It deals with Sick Kids Hospital. So the Victoria Hospital for Sick Kids. So here's what it looks like today with the Canadian Blood Services. Here's what it looked like at the turn of the century. So your question now is, doctors at Toronto's Victoria Hospital for Children invented what revolutionary baby product used by mothers around the world to this day? The first disposable diaper, the Jolly Jumper, gripe water, or pablum? The first disposable diaper, the Jolly Jumper, gripe water, or pablum? And Kelly, yes, you are right. It is not actually the first Sick Kids Hospital. Was not actually in this building. Until then, it was at a house. It was in a home. So here we go. Pablum, says Kelly. Kelly is first off the mark with an answer. She feels it is pablum. Carol, the bottom there says album. There was no album. I think she was trying to say pablum. Spell check. Nancy says gripe water. Carol says pablum. Mike says he'll go with pablum. Looks like pablum is the most popular answer. Show me pablum. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, it was pablum. There were many reasons, but breastfeeding was falling out of favor during the early 1900s, and there was a lot of malnutrition in newborn babies that was going around. And the doctors at Sick Kids, and I want to get their names because it's important. Frederick Tisdale, Theodore Drake, and Alan Brown in 1931 created pablum, which improved nutrition for babies around the world. In fact, until just a few years ago, Sick Kids Hospital still got royalties every year from the original pablum makers until it was bought by Heinz. I think it was in 2004. So they were still making royalties off of pablum for a century after, almost a century after it was invented. Okay, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, that was quite a few of you got one right there. All right, now there are more than 500 streets in Canada that were officially named after Queen Victoria. So about 500 streets in Canada. 3 of them are here in Toronto. And that is your next question. The next question in our Queen Victoria Toronto quiz is this. What 3 streets in Toronto are named for Queen Victoria? I think you can get 1 or 2. I don't know if you're going to get all 3. What 3 streets in Toronto are named for Queen Victoria? Any answers? Any answers? 3 streets in Toronto that are officially named for Queen Victoria. Queen Street is the QEW. There's some answers. What else? Victoria Avenue, Queen Street, Victoria. So I think I know there's one that you're not going to get because I didn't get it. I did not get it, but then it makes sense. Here we go. And all right, so there's some answers in. Here we go. Here is your answer. The 3 streets in Toronto named for Queen Victoria. Victoria Street, Victoria Park, and Queen Street. Did I say Victoria Street? Is it Victoria Avenue or Victoria Street? I think it's Victoria Street, the one in Young Dundas Square behind that. The QEW, I do not. I think the QEW, well, Queen. Okay, think about it. What does QEW mean? Queen. Anyone? Queen Elizabeth Way. All right, so yes, it was not named for Queen Victoria. How are you all doing? 1 or 2 right? Nobody got Victoria Park, and I didn't get Victoria Park either. That didn't even cross my mind. So what? Parker just looked at me. It didn't cross my mind. Parker is ridiculing me right now, dissing me. Okay, and here's Kelly who said, OMG, I lived on Victoria Park. Yeah, I know, right? No, Heather, you're late to the party here. It's not Queen Elizabeth Way because Queen Elizabeth Way is named after Queen Elizabeth. Okay, one more question. This is for all the marbles. Okay, here we go. This is Victoria College, University of Toronto. It actually was named Academy of Upper Canada when it opened in Cobourg in 1836. Why did it have to wait 2 years to name it after Queen Victoria? What happened that they could not name it Victoria College right off the bat? And by the way, Victoria College did not allow women when it was first founded in 1836. 1836, and founded in lovely Cobourg until it was moved to the University of Toronto campus some years later. So, why did they have to wait a couple of years to name it Victoria College? All right, I'm gonna see what you say on this one. Why did they have to wait a couple of years? They were waiting for her to show up. Oh, Mike, would you block him already? My gosh. Cindy, no, wouldn't you put that up because that's interesting. A lot of people think she had to die, that you can't name something after someone until they've died. No, the reason. Let's take a look at the answer. This is sort of a trick question. Here's your answer. It had to wait because she wasn't Queen Victoria in 1836. She became queen in 1837. So there you go. That was a bit of a trick question. So how did you all do? I want to see your scores on there, and please be honest. What were your scores? How did I do on that quiz? All right. Yeah, we're going to play it again. Let's play it again. Come on. Play it. Yes. I'm proud of this intro. I thought it was good. That's an actual picture from 1890.
I am amused.
See? Yeah. Actual footage of Queen's Park in actual footage. Sorry, of Queen Victoria saying that. By the way, what smile? Why? Oh, I smile and it makes the fireworks. Why? How does that work? That didn't work. Well, it worked for a minute there. Okay. Yes, by the way, like I say, if you look very closely at that intro, Queen Victoria had a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow happening around here. Do you want to see what this is? Okay. I will bring it up for you. Okay. This is me doing that. Okay. This is where I got the effect from. I'll hold it up to the camera. Oh, that's all right. See, that was me that I had to do that. I was trying to look. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm actually trying. I'm trying to channel my Victoria. See, I don't know what I was doing with that one. There we go. All right. What else do we have for you tonight? Okay. Feels like I don't think we're going to be using this one again. Feels like it's some mileage out there.
I am amused.
What I'm really impressed with is that picture. I love that picture. You see the Flatiron building there in the foreground. Good Irma Wort's head office pretty well is what that was. So that's definitely stood the test of time. What are we doing next? What do we want to do next? You pick one. What do you want to do? Oh, yeah, okay. We have breaking news. Yeah, so we have breaking news. Premier has released his cheesecake recipe. Let's go back to May the 11th. During his press conference at this time, he had this to say.
And the supply chain as a whole is so important. So it's critical that we continue with the supply chain and have the proper items on the shelves there.
Next question.
And by the way, before I jump, I make the best cherry cheesecake ever. I do it from scratch. No recipe. I got it down pat. And again, you can tell I've eaten one too many cheesecakes. That's my problem.
Next question.
So we had to go through a Freedom of Information request. We dogged the Premier day and night. We said, sir, when will you release that recipe? Well, he did it. So let's have a look at the Premier's cheesecake recipe.
Hi everyone. Today we're going to make the famous Premier's cheesecake. I'm going to put about 3 packs of Dream Whip in each one of these containers. You know, I learned this recipe years ago off my mother when I was 10 years old, and I just had it kind of memorized. And she made such an awesome cheesecake, and she learned the recipe off her sister, my aunt Wendy. So half a cup of milk, and I put 3 in there, so that's going to be 1.5 cups. Okay. Now what we're going to do, the cream cheese, we're going to put it on a plate. Now I'm just going to put this in the microwave for a minute. And then what I'm going to do, we'll make the base, the graham cracker base. Delicious. Put a little butter, put a little graham cracker, a little bit of sugar. Oh, beautiful. Preheating the oven to about 100 degrees, 180 degrees I should say Celsius. Right in here. That's 1 cup of icing sugar. And give this a little zapper and we're ready to roll. Okay, I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. Okay, we're gonna bring this over here. And then we're gonna dump it right into the pan. Now we're going to put it in the oven. Just nice little brown crust. Let's let this cool down for a little bit. Now we're just going to pour this on top of the cheesecake. And then we're going to let it cool. We're going to put it in the fridge and leave it there for about an hour. I'm going to pour this on, but if you don't like cherries, do blueberries. If I wasn't Premier, I'd open up a cheesecake factory. That, my friends, is the Premier's cheesecake. Friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and these are some of the fun things you can do when you're self-isolating. Oh, oh, oh. I haven't had one of these in years. I haven't made one in years. But I'll tell you, I haven't lost the touch.
I love cheesecake. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Premier, for posting that. And you know what? I think it's great. We need something to smile about, right, from time to time, and it must be. Or you got the address there, or you got the what was it? Parker's just putting that up. Well, yeah, we're going to have to change the color on that. Anyway, you know what? If you go to YouTube and just search on YouTube Premier of Ontario cheesecake recipe. It's there. It's nice and easy. But yeah, we need things like that. I want to smile about things once in a while. Everything is not always bad. And it doesn't always have to be bad. Yeah, there's some serious stuff happening, but we need to smile about things. So I want to thank the Premier very much for giving us another reason to smile. What next? This is just a whole hodgepodge of things. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of people returning my phone calls today. It's Saturday of a long weekend. What do you expect? I just got some rinky-dink Facebook, Twitter show here, so it's people aren't returning my calls as much right now, but that's okay. Okay, so this was an interesting story that I saw on Blog TO, and it's perfect because it deals with what we were talking about yesterday, and that is how retail it is necessary that retail pivot, that they change directions, and they have a great story of Tre Marie Bakery, which has been there for decades. And it has did something that they didn't think was, they were surprised at how well it worked. So before they were just a bakery. And now there's so much more. They reinvented themselves. So here's a little bit of what Blog TO had talked to them about.
We have, over the last 3 weeks, implemented and built a website that has over 900 products.
We buy many things locally, a lot of things imported from Europe. Normally, we buy things for the store for people to pick and see. Our product offering has changed quite a bit since COVID. We would normally sell finished products like finished meals and finished breads, whereas now we're selling a lot of flour and yeast.
The most difficult part for launching it was, I guess, the success. We weren't sure what was going to come of it. We kind of just figured we had to try something.
My perception is no one's going to buy from us online. They want to come to the store. I can't believe how many people have shifted.
Shop.tremerybakery.ca. Shop.tremerybakery.ca to check out their new website, or if you want to just go to Blogto and you can watch that whole episode. It's fantastic. So tomorrow here we are going to be talking about, of course, a staple of Victoria Day weekend, and that is fireworks. Sadly, we're going to have to settle for virtual fireworks. We're going to be talking about some fireworks that are out there and how you can take part. In fact, there is one initiative going on that's trying to set a record for the number of people watching virtual fireworks together at one time. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Hopefully they return my call. And we're going to talk about that, where you can take part at least in some fireworks. The nice thing is, you don't have to worry if the weather is bad or if it's going to rain, or you're sitting down trying to get a spot for hours and then have to fight traffic to get home. So we're going to talk about all of that tomorrow here on Kevin's Isolators. So thank you very much. Oh, we wanted to do the Reiner update as well, right? Yeah. Do you remember Reiner? Let me remind you of Reiner. He was on the show last week. He was the one that made the model in his bedroom of transit in Toronto. Both TTC and Go Transit did an incredible job. And these things have lights in them. He's painted a lot of them himself. Well, he tagged me today and this afternoon on Twitter to give me a bit of an update. So here is what he has for us. He's still at it. So here we go. He has painted a few more on what he's calling CLRV trains. Now, the CLRV are the streetcars, and now I guess we're calling them the older streetcars. Let me just center that up. There we go. And he's still hard at it. Now, he has an immune deficiency in that he is immune compromised, I should say, because of health problems. So he can't go out at all. So this is what he is doing, and doing an incredible job, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. And like I say, I am very jealous that he has that in his room. Need ideas for the show, my friends? If you have any ideas about things we should be talking about, what you want to talk about, things you want to smile about, and apparently Parker says people have been requesting the pickle. I don't know why. I even have earrings. Look at that. So there's the pickle. You request it, we do it. So send me an email, send me a message, send me a tweet, send me anything. What do you want to talk about on the show? What do you want to know more about? What guests do you want to have come back? I know we've had some great guests on over the past few weeks. We're heading towards show number 60 very quickly. That's just in a couple of days. So let me know. Take part. This is your show as much as it is mine. We'll see you tomorrow here on Kevin's Isolators. Until then, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Take care.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack.